In February 1905, Gertrude Bell set her course eastward from the Druze village of Ruwayk, aiming for the black volcanic wilderness of the Safa, a desolate expanse that marked the farthest frontier of Druze authority. Waiting for her was Sheikh Gishgash, a local notable whose cheerful welcome was matched by a bold assurance she would travel safely under his protection.
Sheikh Gishgash was all smiles. Certainly I could ride out to the Ruba if I would take him with me. He scoffed at the idea of a larger escort. By the face of the truth, the Ghiath were his servants and his bondmen. They would entertain us as the noble should be entertained, and provide us with luxurious lodgings.
Gishgash's confidence rested on his relationship with the Ghiath Bedouin, nomads of the Safa. He claimed them as bondmen of his house, not as slaves, but as clients bound by Khuwwa, the protection pact that defined power and safety in the desert. In Khuwwa, a weaker party, whether a settled village, caravan, or small tribe, pledged allegiance and tribute to a stronger protector in exchange for security. Such ties were pragmatic, not tribal. Christian towns might pay Khuwwa to Muslim tribes, farmers to nomads, and, as in this case, Arab Bedouin to non-Bedouin Druze sheikhs. The key was deterrence. The Druze, with their fortified villages, disciplined fighters, and mountain strongholds, could credibly defend the Ghiath against stronger Bedouin powers like the Ruwala or Anaza. In return, the Ghiath were bound to feed, lodge, and safeguard any Druze guest, as though he were kin. Bell rode eastward, descending steep slopes into the barren volcanic valleys. The Safa was a rolling surface of black rocks, their heat in summer said to be nearly unbearable. The paths were narrow corridors worn into the rock by countless generations of feet. Bell and her companions eventually reached a small Ghiath encampment, a scatter of black tents. Their hosts, bound by Khuwwa obligations, offered food and space around the fire. The fare was modest, flat bread and date syrup. But hospitality in the desert was measured not by abundance, but by the assurance of shelter and safety.
We scattered, being a large party, and Gishgash, my servants and I went to the house of the sheikh. His two sons lighted a fire of thorn and camel dung that smoked abominably, and we sat round and watched the coffee making. Our dinner was of shirak and dibs. The Ghiath are too poor to kill a sheep for their guest, even when he is a personage so important as Gishgash.
At dawn, Bell set out deeper into the lava fields. Her route led to Kalat al Bayda, the White Castle, a striking fortress whose pale stone stood in sharp contrast to the surrounding black lava. Likely a late Roman or Ghassanid outpost, it formed part of a chain of frontier fortifications that linked the cultivated lands of Syria with the dangerous nomad-haunted steppe. In the centuries before Islam, this frontier had been a fault line between the world's two great powers, the Byzantine Empire and the Sasanian Persian Empire. Each relied on an allied Arab client kingdom to guard its desert approaches, the Ghassanids, Christian Arabs who served Byzantium, and the Lakhmids, based in Iraq and loyal to Persia. From the 5th to the 7th centuries, the Ghassanids fortified strong points like Kalat al Bayda to shield trade and pilgrimage routes from raiding tribes and Persian-aligned Lakhmid incursions.
This was it, the famous citadel that guards a dead land from an unpeopled, the Safa from the Hamad. 1,000 unanswerable questions spring to your mind as you cross the threshold. I would only remark that the buildings at Kalat al Bayda cannot, as they stand, belong to one and the same period. The only conclusion I venture to draw is that the two suggestions of origin that have been made by archaeologists, the one that the place was a Roman camp, the other that it was the Ghassanid fortress, may both be true.
On the return journey, Bell learned more about Druze religious customs. The Druze faith is divided into the uqqāl, wise or initiated, and the juhhāl, ignorant or uninitiated. Initiation is open to both men and women, typically of middle age, who have shown the moral discipline and discretion to safeguard the sect's esoteric teachings. The uqqāl are marked outwardly by their modest dress. For men, a white turban and plain garments. For women, a white headscarf. And by their abstention from tobacco and alcohol. They study the Druze sacred texts, guard the community's oral traditions, and act as moral exemplars. The uninitiated majority, by contrast, live ordinary lives without access to these teachings, following only the public moral code. Bell was surprised to find that even an initiate might bend the rules when no one was watching.
The sect is divided into initiated and uninitiated. To the stranger, the main difference between the two is that the initiated abstain from the use of tobacco. I was therefore surprised when Faiz, finding himself alone with Mikhail and me, begged the former for a cigarette. He would not have accepted a cigarette if another Druze had been in sight, but that since none of his co-religionists were present, he felt himself at liberty to do as he pleased. He begged me, however, not to mention to his brother this lapse from virtue.
As Bell left the mountain, the social realities of Ottoman Syria reasserted themselves. While riding towards Damascus, a young girl shrank from her party in visible fear, a telling reminder that in the borderlands between Druze autonomy and Ottoman control, vulnerability was a lived experience, and safety could not be assumed.
There is a military post at Burak held by a score of soldiers. We met a little Druze girl who cowered by the roadside and wept with fear at the sight of us. "I am a maid," she cried. "I am a maid." Her words threw an ominous shadow upon the Turkish regime under which we were now to find ourselves again.
Gertrude Bell's journey had carried her across the highlands of the Jordanian Belka and through the rugged Druze mountain in southern Syria. Lands ruled by sheikhs, bound by tribal alliances, and shaped by deep religious traditions. Now Bell set her intention on Damascus, the great metropolis of the Levant, its minarets and gardens promising a striking contrast to the austere, windswept landscapes she was leaving behind.